Imagine standing at the base of a 40-foot stone wall. Above you, hundreds of defenders are waiting with heavy rocks, boiling liquids, and sharpened spears. Your task is simple but terrifying. You have to be the first person to climb a wooden ladder, reach the top, and jump into a crowd. There's no cover, no shield big enough to protect you, and almost no chance of coming back down alive. Most people would call this a suicide mission. Yet, throughout history, there was never a shortage of volunteers. Men actually fought each other for the privilege of being the first one up that ladder. Why? What could possibly motivate a human being to run toward almost certain death while everyone else was trying to stay behind cover? Today, we're going to look past the armor and the weapons to find out what was really happening in the hearts and minds of these soldiers. To understand this, we first have to understand the name given to these groups of men. In the British military, they were called the Forlorn Hope. This comes from an old Dutch phrase, Forlorn Hope, which literally means the lost troop. These weren't just soldiers. They were men who accepted their fate. It's often been called the most dangerous job in history, and that's not an exaggeration. Even when odds of survival were low, the line was long. The first and most obvious motivation was the promise of a completely different life. For many soldiers, poverty was a permanent trap. If you survived, you weren't just a hero. You were often given an immediate promotion to an officer rank, in a world where social class decided your fate. The siege ladder was the only elevator that could turn a peasant into a gentleman in minutes. Then, there was the money. The first man on the wall often received a massive cash bounty, sometimes several years' worth of salary in a day. In many armies, there was also a rule regarding plunder. The first group to break into a city often had the right to keep the best treasures. For a man with a starving family back home, the chance to provide for them for a lifetime was worth the risk of a spear to the chest. But it wasn't just about the gold. In these warrior cultures, honor wasn't just a fancy word. It was a currency. To be labeled a coward was a social death sentence. On the flip side, the glory of planting a flag on the enemy's battlements meant immortality. Your commander would know your name. Your king might hear of your deeds. For many, the fear of being forgotten was greater than the fear of death. There's also a darker side. Sometimes, the men on those ladders were there for a second chance. Armies offered full pardons to criminals. It was a simple choice. Face the executioner as a rope at Ome, or take your chances on the ladder. At least on the ladder, you had a fighting chance. We also can't overlook the adrenaline and the groupthink. After sitting in a muddy trench for months, watching friends die, a strange madness sets in. When the drums start beating and the order is given, the human brain often switches from survival mode to attack mode. The sheer momentum of thousands of men cheering and charging behind you pushes you upward. You aren't thinking about the foe. Religion played a massive role as well. Whether it was the promise of Valhalla or the assurance of paradise, many believed death was a ticket to glory. If you believe that your God is watching you and that your death is already predestined, the fear of a ladder starts to fade away. In the end, it was a complex cocktail of desperation, greed, faith, and the burning desire to be someone important. These men were the extreme gamblers of history. They bet their lives against impossible odds, hoping to win a future they could never achieve peacefully. The next time you see an old stone castle, just imagine the silent courage, the loud desperation of the men who looked at those heights and climbed. If you found this look into the minds of history's bravest soldiers interesting, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps us bring more of these hidden stories to light. Thank you for spending your time with us here at